Hello and welcome back to the channel Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing, and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, the NRL are very strict on their COVID response, but players are becoming more vocal about objections. New appointments by the RFL ahead of the Rugby League World Cup, and are we finally seeing the RFL and Super League reunited? And that's where we begin today, the RFL and Super League's realignment talks, as they are believed to be close to completion, according to Ralph Rimmer. The RFL and the Super League have been discussing the reunification since July, following the split between the two organisations in 2018. The initial breakaway from the RFL was forced by a number of Super League clubs who wished to have independence in negotiating broadcast and commercial deals. However, the separation between the sport's governing bodies and Premier competition looks set to end in the early months of 2022. Discussions with the Rugby League landscape ahead of the start of the competitive 2022 season, RFL CEO Ralph Rimmer said to the RFL website, rugby-league.com, for several months, the new mood of cooperation has allowed one working group to focus on the governance and realignment, and the other to look ahead and plan more strategically for the future. Rimmer, seen here on the right with Sean Wayne, the New England coach, said those discussions between Super League Europe and the Rugby Football League remain complex and sensitive, and have required a huge amount of work, as well as significant give and take on all sides. We're not over the line yet, but we are close, with everyone involved working towards some exciting announcements in the coming weeks and months that should put the sport in a completely new trajectory. Ben Davey, Super League interim chair, and his colleagues should be given great credit for their continued approach to these discussions. These talks have come about ever since there have been some voting issues in the past that have caused trouble for Rugby League in the UK and France. For instance, the clubs voted out Toronto Wolfpack, where the financial market is much bigger than the entire Rugby League put together as a sporting entity and potential growth. That's my opinion, not Rugby League's. There's also the licensing issue. There's also the cost of the community game, with the fees going up in that, and also Rugby Football League being affected by the salaries, but the money received from TV revenue deals. But when you see that the RFL have got their own TV deal, and there are more TV deals coming out of the woodwork in the UK, such as Channel 4's inclusion in showing 10 Super League games, regular season Super League games, as well as Sky Sports continuing, there is a lot more scope available out there for Rugby League and more product. Growth is inevitable with just tuning on the TV. There is a long way to go. I won't say that it's close, I'm saying that it's closer than what it has been in previous times. I think there's still one stumbling block: Super League club votes, as they don't want to lose any money. Whether they've sorted that out or not remains to be seen. But the realignment is needed. Rugby League can't be two separate entities. Plus relegation and promotion means that one team's going out of one unit into the other. If there's a closed door policy on that, the Rugby Football loses all power. So, Super League is there for the elite and those who want to become. Our system as a pyramid system has worked in many different sports, and hopefully it continues to do so and grow and flourish once realignment comes about. In what's called a strong move by the NRL, their players have been banned from all indoor venues such as pubs, nightclubs, and even cinemas, and will need people to visit their house to pass a rapid antigen test before. And as all 16 clubs were ordered to delay their return to pre-season training. The escalating COVID-19 threat across Australia has prompted NRL to impose a series of hardline restrictions on its players, even though there is still 2 months until the kick-off. A handful of unvaccinated players have been banned from having guests at their home or visiting other households, whilst they've also been asked to exercise alone in public. Part of the measures include a return to the bubble-like protocols, which ensured the 2022 and 2021 seasons were completed, with sources familiar with the situation saying all the players have been told not to enter pubs, bars, nightclubs, bowling alleys and cinemas until further notice. Restaurants and cafes are permissible as long as the players sit outdoors and are provided table service. That includes outdoor areas at pubs and clubs. Whilst most people gathered in general public to celebrate the festive season with large private gatherings, the NRL has ruled all personnel on its Apollo register must only have up to 10 visitors to their home per day, and each visitor will be required to provide a negative RAT before attending. A partner and child of a player who reside with them will be allowed indoors if they can also show they're COVID-19 free with a rapid test. Whilst the measures may seem drastic, the NRL want to mitigate any risks when it comes to 480 players returning to pre-season training this week after the festive period and holidays interstate. It's why they've told all 16 coaches they had to amend pre-season schedules for players to return to the training no earlier than Thursday as they try to bed down the testing procedures. These measures have been helping as the dwindling number of unvaccinated players in the NRL will have even harsher restrictions imposed upon their return to training, including separate bathrooms and eating areas as well as segregated indoor gym use. They will only be allowed to leave home for essential household tasks and not visit any other household or have any visitors to their home. This has caught the ire of Super League NRL players such as Jack Wighton, who took to Instagram saying, "Thought I was getting the stupid vax so I didn't have to do this for another year of this S word," after the announcement came out from 9 Online, NRL 9 even. He wasn't the only one, as Carl Feldt took to Instagram with his displeasure as well, questioning the COVID vaccine mandates not being put into place, and NRL's doing the best not to contract COVID, but having these rules in place on them instead of as well the public at large. Of the 480 players to return to pre-season after training after the Christmas and New Year holiday period, only a tiny handful of unvaccinated players remain, with only Brisbane Broncos forward John Asiata walking away from his contract with the Canterbury Bulldogs because of the COVID vaccination stance. The NRL stance has been hard and is in contrast with Super Leagues, which has recommended all players get vaccinated, as there has been no inkling of a mandate made from either sides. I'm not sure if recommending all the prompting and everything like that comes into play. NRL and Super League must have a definitive stance, but medical experts, that's what it'll all fall down to. And they're going to keep their players unhappy unless they do something that is basically, I can't think of the word at the moment, leadership wise, or they might end up with more people walking away. And now on to the appointments that the RFL have made in line with the England Rugby League team, as Paul Anderson and Stuart Barrow will begin the 2022 season in significant roles at the RFL as Head of Talent Pathways for male and female rugby league, respectively. Anderson, who was a head coach at Huddersfield, was appointed, meaning that the former Bradford Bulls, St Helens and England and Great Britain forward will continue as head coach of the England Knights, a role that is filled since 2018, including the groundbreaking tour of Papua New Guinea and home victories over Jamaica in 2019 and 2021. He left the Warrington Wolves, where he's been working as the academy head coach, to join the RFL on a full-time basis. Speaking on the Rugby League website, the RFL website even, Anderson said, "My job is simply to help England win a World Cup. I genuinely believe this is something we can achieve in 2022. Beyond this, it will be achieved through a connected pathways from academy to Knights, then onto Sean Wayne and his senior team. I would like to thank Warrington Wolves and Peter Riding for giving me the opportunity to work with a lot of good people, and to coach the next generation of wire players over the last 3 years. This is something I thoroughly enjoyed and will look back with great memories." Barrow, who himself has extensive coaching experience across the game with Bradford Bulls, Castleford Tigers and Warrington Wolves player development manager, he previously worked for the RFL as a women's and girls national talent manager. In the new role, he will be responsible for the strategy, management and implementation of a world-leading player and coach development programme for England's Rugby League female talent and performance pathway, which is something that RFL needs to look at, as the clubs have been doing it themselves with a little bit of pushing from the RFL with Stuart Barrow in that role. But now it's a full-time position, so this truly showing they're serious about the appointment. Again, speaking to the RFL's website, Barrow said, "This role shows the significant growth in the women's and girls' game over the last few years, and the need now to continue the development of performance pathway from the national DISE programme through our England Women's Night setup and on to the senior squad as we prepare for future World Cups. I'm looking forward and excited to be supporting and working with coaches and players across the whole game." It's interesting times for the RFL to have these appointments come in, as it seems more of a long-term game rather than just focusing on the World Cup as it comes. There needed to be these roles in place, as all sports have their national advisor position for every single player and team out there. Now the governing body have decided to make these full-time rather than a bit part one, as they both were working in the RFL but with Warrington Wolves at the same time on a part-time basis. It shows what needs to happen. It's forward thinking that's kind of 20 years behind the curve. Gotta take our victories wherever we see them with the RFL and England and Rugby League as a whole in the Northern Hemisphere. If they're not set up as an organisation professionally, how are we going to take on the Aussies for one? How are we going to win World Cups? Two, how are we going to win Test Series? I want to see more international Rugby League. I do. It's a fact. So, these boys are in place. They should be banging on the door saying, we're not playing more games. And hopefully, see them. Hopefully the RFL will see that as well, once the realignment. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and also click that notification bell for more videos coming your way in the future. But in the meantime, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments about today's video. Do you think the appointments of Barrow and Bellew will push the growth of the international game for the England side, men's and women's? Do you think that the RFL's realignment is a good thing? Just put that in the comments if you agree or disagree with what I've said today. And finally, the NRL putting these mandates in place when it comes to their players going to bars, restaurants, organized cinemas when they come into contact with the public. Do you think it's a good move, or do you feel that it's restricting players at the cost of the actuals? But anyway, it's for you to say. Please put them in the comments. But in the meantime, please remember to share this video worldwide, and also tag people into those shares to get them on board. 17 away from 100 subscribers. That's my first milestone, and I'll be happy and celebrating, thanking multiple people as soon as that my milestone comes ahead. But in the meantime, thank you again for watching. Please remember to stay safe, all the best, and I'll see you in the next video.